Hello guys, how are you? No, it's not that easy. If you want to know how did I get there, I have a video how to replace the clutch assembly on the 147, 156 and GT, the diesel version. This is the twin spark version, which is just a little bit different, and for that I will show you only the differences on this video. I'm talking about here the flywheel, the clutch set and the push bearing that it has, and for that you can refer to the other video for the complete disassembly and assembly. Also on this video I'll do the bleeding with the pressurized system, so you can see how it's done, so you can have a very firm and soft pedal, firm in terms of no soft spots on the clutch pedal, and for this to have the perfect job. Also I will replace here the seal for the crankshaft for this gearbox side. I also do have a video for that, and for that I will not show on this video, okay? Down on the description you will have all of the videos for what you need, okay? The main reason why I'm replacing here the clutch set is because of this push bearing over here. No, it is not because it is doing a lot of noise. It is because it's leaking oil through, and in that way the clutch pedal goes all the way to the floor, and then you have to pump it a bit to start to have clutch again. So for that I will replace here this whole assembly over here, and as we have the gearbox out, I will replace also the clutch set and, like I said, the seal for the crankshaft. As you can see, that is quite nasty, and as you can hear, my compressor is elsewhere. I already have a airline going all the way through, and the compressor now is on the other side, so now I can have a little bit more silence while I'm recording and working. And I have here my exits going down into the hose into my work, okay? So this is more like it. So I will replace that over there. I have a video for that. I also will clean that up, that sheet metal. I already told you how to adjust it and all of that. For the flywheel, I will pass a very harsh sand grit over there. Some of you asked me earlier if it was not better to do a resurface on it, like the V6 for example. Yes, it was, but on my country it is extremely difficult to find a service that does that. Normally they do it on the lathe, and that is awful for flywheels. It has to be on the stone, okay? So that cannot be done, okay? For the clutch assembly itself, do you remember my video about clutches? This one is still the original one, I believe, from factory. You can only the same manufacturer that did it for your brand, okay? No more, no less. This push bearing is glued on. I cannot recall if that is necessary or not. I believe it is not necessary. Because the new push bearing already has the seal, the new seal. I cannot recall if anything else is necessary. I believe it is. I believe it is. So okay, I get it. Some do also use here a O-ring. This one does not. So the silicone or the O-ring will prevent oil coming out of this area, and this seal, this inner seal, will prevent oil coming out from the shaft itself, okay? So I was just using the silicone there on the seal for the crankshaft, so I have it at hand. Let's clean this up and replace the push bearing with the new silicone. Okay, you do not need much, but at the same time I like to see the imprint of it, so I will push it through. At the same time, this push bearing has a tool, so I can insert the inner seal without causing any damage on it. So I will push it in and then push it out to see the imprint of the silicone. Another thing that the factory says not to do is to push in this bearing when it is without any fluid. So my impression is that it is a little bit too little. I have to put a little bit more. Now this is more like it, and pay attention not to have any seal, any silicone go into the inside of this inner seal, and we can, yes, we can assemble this. Also pay attention not to go any silicone to the bearing itself, okay, or the shaft. Do about 10 Newton meters here on the bolts. Apertar os parafusos a cerca de ou até 10 newtons. And resist the urge to push the bearing in, ok? E resistam à tentação de colocar o vedante, de colocar o rolamento, e resistam à tentação de empurrar o rolamento para baixo, está bem? Now to remove here this seal for the transmission, you can do it in several ways. Normally I'll do it like this. Just pry it out, but just be careful not to scratch the gearbox itself, the aluminium over here. There are no damages caused, so let's carry on. I like the Corteco ones, they are most of the times original. Make sure the sizes are the same. Most of the times the size is engraved onto the seal and you can compare. To insert the seal, I already showed you how it's done on the video that I did for the rebuild of the axle shaft. Make sure it is flush all the way around, and we are almost ready to insert the gearbox again. So give it about 25 Newton meters. Don't forget, if after doing this, if the diaphragm, if the fingers over here of the diaphragm, they are up and down, if they do that, you have to take it out and send it back to your supplier, okay? It is damaged. The Look clutch kits do that a lot, okay? So beware of that. If you are assembling one in the BMW, for example, if the fingers are not all the way straight, take it off, send it back. Now, as you know, I have my pressurized system connected here to the reservoir for the brakes and clutch, and for that I want to do the bleeding over there of that system. That system over there uses a sliding motion, where I have to take out here this little clip and push this hose just a little bit back, not all the way, okay? So in that way the oil and air will come out here through this area. Then you just have to repeat the steps that I did for the 159, for example, in order to have no air on the system. Try to use an exit hose. So that way no oil will go to the bell housing and creating a huge mess. Now the system is pressurized over here, right? You can see and hear bubbles and old oil coming out. Once you see that no bubbles are coming out, you can close it again. It can take a while. That's why I like to do the following procedure. Don't take out too much, okay? You can feel the step. Now with it open, do the following. So in fact, it is the same that I did so far on the channel, exactly the same procedure, but with a different set of parts, right? I like to take out a full bottle, like at least half a liter. So half to 1 liter will be good. You can see no bubbles coming out, and which means that we are good. Perfeito. This protective cap is broken. If not, you have to slide it out, okay? Nada especial. Make sure everything is in. One thing popped to mind over here. Sometimes I see on some publications on Facebook and whatnot, sometimes the clutch is spinning and people tend to replace the cylinders. I mean the master and slave clutch cylinders, that is, okay? That does nothing, okay? Because the force that is necessary to act on the disc is only on the pressure plate. The clutch pedal only releases that pressure, the pressure that is being made by the plate against the disc, against the flywheel, okay? So if you have a spinning clutch, well, where the engine revs but the car does not run, but the car does not accelerate, it means that you have a worn out clutch disc, okay? Do not replace the cylinders just because, okay? They may be expensive, sometimes hard to reach, and don't do it, okay? If it is spinning, it is not the cylinders. The cylinders release the pressure, okay? The pressure is being made by the pressure plate itself. That's why it's called the pressure plate. It smooshes together the disc between the pressure plate itself and the flywheel. I am to replace over there also a control arm and the front sway bar. For that I do have videos. In fact, it is on the video for the replacement of the gearbox, on that case on the 147. To finish the job over here, you can refer to that video because I do not want to I do not want to waste your time, okay? And I see you next time, guys. Bye!